Evening all. Ta-da! It's still a work in progress. We haven't got the star on top, and there's a few baubles down there that need doing. Youngest son's working on it. He put some time in today, but he sloped off to play Fortnite later. So, we've got time coming up. School ends next week. So, yeah, I'm going to crack the whip and get him onto that. Okay, now this video is called I Called It, because I totally did. A few months ago, I did a video called the Alternative Influence Network Prescription List. Now, if you remember, this is back, I think, early autumn time. A minor progressive left-wing academic drew a diagram where she went and connected everybody in the intellectual dark web and their friends and people they've once met and people who they've had a debate or an argument or a conversation with, even if it's just once, and just connect them all together and said, there's your alt-right. Okay, there's these people are dangerous because they're spreading harmful ideas. Okay, and so that list, and it got into The Guardian, and it was talked about in the mainstream media, and everybody's going, oh, these are the people we have to worry about. And I said at the time, that Alternative Influence Network report, even though we all laughed at it, we thought it was ludicrous, and it is ludicrous. The connections it makes are always disingenuous, built on lies, built on half-truths, where one debate between a liberal and a member of the alt-right is established as some kind of connection, that they're somehow enabling one another. The liberal is enabling the alt-right merely by having a debate with them. And I said at the time that that report will be used as a prescription list. Everybody who is left-leaning will look at that and go, oh my goodness me, this is a report by an academic at a university. And so we should take it seriously. Or maybe these people are dangerous. Jordan Peterson, Brett Weinstein, Ben Shapiro, they're all a big fan. Ooh, boogeyman. And I said that they'll use that as a list to go. It's a shopping list. It's a hit list of people to take down. And so this minor progressive left academic, who I theorize has no hobbies outside of left-wing activism, and sits in a group, no doubt, with other progressive left-wing academics who've got no lives or interests outside of left-wing politics, draws up this list and starts using it, starts putting it into the left-leaning mainstream media outlets like The Guardian and The Independent. And then that trickles on. It trickles on into organisations such as the BBC or CNN or MSNBC and maybe mainstream newspapers, even ones that looked at that report with a slightly sceptical eye, like The Times. But The Times isn't immune. Everybody thinks The Times is a right-wing newspaper. No, it's a corporatist newspaper. It's the newspaper read by people who like massive corporations. Not necessarily left-wing, but just as I mentioned in my previous video, the corporate world, the big corporations are where the left is going into next. And they're changing the thought patterns and changing the culture of capitalist corporate, big corporations and corporate societies by changing them so that the corporation and the idea of the big imposing state eventually merge. And we end up like Rollerball, which is another one of my previous videos. So what happens is that these organizations look at the Alternative Influence Network report and just use that as the hit list. And this is what's happened. These people have produced a list based on lies and half-truths and deliberate half-truths. And they have a drip-drip effect. They go into the media where the media half believe it themselves. And now it's going into the financial system, the online financial system. So Patreon has a banned list. Oh, no, they can pull the rug out. And PayPal has caved in. And I think somewhere PayPal made a statement and where they mentioned the Alternative Influence Network report, or actually I think it was a case of people who have been promoting the Alternative Influence Network theory which can be debunked. They've been saying, oh, well, we've been using that as a way to alert companies like PayPal to the problem of the alt-right, the far-right, the fascists, whatever. Even though barely any of the people on that list can even begin to be described as fascists. It's all lies. And they use it, they're taking it down. Now Subscribestar's gone. And this is what's happening. And it's not going to end with the people on that list, because most of us are now in a chain. And I realise I'm now part of this chain. 6 months ago, I was just absolutely nobody. I had 68 subscribers. I was a guy who was trying to make short comedy films, but that proved too expensive. So I kind of almost gave up. And then I started doing little pieces to camera, and then somebody noticed. And then I got on a quiz show, an online quiz show. And suddenly now I've got approaching 300 subscribers in such a short space of time. And I don't mean that to big myself up. I'm just saying that things can happen exponentially, for good and bad. It's good for me that I'm getting subscribers, but it's bad that the exponential crisis that's affecting all the free thinkers on the net are being taken down by companies that are in the thrall of progressive left-wing activists. So what happens is that because Sargon of Akkad once debated the alt-right, and he once debated Richard Spencer, he's connected. There's taint there with Sargon, apparently. And Sargon has discussed things with the academic agent. And the academic agent is good buddies with the Britisher. And I guest on the Britisher shows, and I've done a couple of unpopular opinions now. So now I'm connected. So, if things happen this exponentially, once they've worked through everybody on the original Alternative Influence Network report, they'll go to what I jokingly did a meme a few months ago called the Alternative Influence Network League Division 2, which is all the people that just missed the cuts of the original report. And I put myself right at the end. Right, you had this chain of all these people from the academic agent and Matt Christensen and V and all these people. And then at the end, right at the end is me. Right, but now, if this comes to pass, they draw up another list. I'm going to be on it. 300 subscribers and all. Or whatever, it's 260 something. But anyway, I'm rounding up. And if it happens to me, it will happen to you. So what are the solutions? Well, things are happening. There's been an excellent video by Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson, just a short 10-minute one, which I thoroughly recommend you watch, where they are, in conjunction with other people, coming up with a whole new online funding and platform system, which will be free of all this political leverage. I mean, I'd love to see it happen. If it works, it's going to be the answer. But we've got to consider lots of different possibilities. Okay, we have got to, for my liberalist chums, no, not libertarian chums, my ANCAP followers, who I greatly respect. I mean, you've given me new ideas to think about, even if I don't agree with them. But we have to start thinking about, could we go down the legislative route? Because I can't think of another time in history, certainly not the last 100 years, where, like, say, your bank cancels your bank account, you sort of terminates your bank account and your business with that bank based on your own personal political opinions. I've never seen that happen before in traditional high street banking. Maybe it has happened. If you know of such an incident, please comment below. You actually have to do something illegal to get your bank account shut down. But online, it can happen. You can do it. Online, you just... online, you can be taken down for your political opinions by an online financial service. I've never seen this happen before. Is there a legislative thing that we need to consider? Is this a breach, if you're an American, is this a breach of the First Amendment? look into that. Is this a breach of contract? Because Patreon didn't tell Sargon what their hidden terms of service were. He believed that they were one thing, and it turns out they've got a whole other thing. This trust and safety team. Is this breach of contract? Do we get lawyered up? Do we push for it legally? But whatever happens, whether you are completely against regulation and you don't want the state getting involved, we need to get allies. We need to get millionaires, billionaires. We need to get friendly politicians. We need to find allies everywhere. We can't just be a bunch of Herberts sitting in our houses, in our rooms, with an unconvincing Christmas tree in the background, trying to complain about the world and hoping it will change because of our complaints. No, we've got to get big guns. The left have got the big artillery, and we don't. So it's time we got it. It's time we pulled out all the stops. We consider every option available to us, because freedom is being eroded. I keep saying this is the theme. This is my autumn-winter theme of 2018 going into 2019. We're in it for the hearts and minds of the normies. Right? The normies are going around going, if Patreon banned this person, well, maybe there's a just cause. Maybe there's a good reason. Maybe he is a dangerous fascist. I don't like fascists. No, you've got to get into the normies and just say, no, you are being played by the hard left, who want a totalitarian society where they can completely control people's thoughts and speech. And we don't want that. I don't think the normies want that. Okay? We are in a battle with the hearts and minds. So we need to get our voices heard, and we need big friends. We need friends in high places. Okay? Anything you can do. Now, I will be trying to make contact with my local MP, who is a Secretary of State, quite a prominent MP, who I have quite a small link with, because, yeah, I've been to a couple of his speaking events, asked him questions, spoken to him a little bit, but my in-laws know him quite well. So I'll be using him to raise this issue with, and there'll be a few other MPs who I've spoken with or written to in the last 12 months, who I think would be sympathetic. You see, sometimes these politicians, they're unaware of the scale of what's going on. Frankly, in Britain, everybody's so consumed by Brexit, they haven't got time to look into this issue. But we're going to have to raise awareness. You know, anybody who has Lindsey Graham as their senator, hey, contact Lindsey Graham. He seems like a good bloke. Contact these people. Get out there, and find people on the left who would be sympathetic. We've got a few of those in this country. We've got off the top of my head, people like Frank Field and Kate Hoey would be sympathetic to this. But you guys in America, maybe there are some sensible Democrats who would be on board with helping us. We can make it bipartisan. Hey, or in Australia, in Canada, wherever, just make a loud noise. We will not be swept under the carpet, and let us find allies. That is my message. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, one and all. And I'll see you next time. I don't know if I'm going to do another one before Christmas. Maybe afterwards, when I've had too much to eat and drink and I'm half cut. That'll be fun, won't it? Anyway, have a Merry Christmas. God bless you all. Even atheists who object to the phrase God bless, I mean it most sincerely. I really don't. Okay, catch you later. Wait a minute, is that a caption? Is that was that a jump cut earlier? Was that an edit and a cap? And then Keith, what happened to the low tech? Hey, I'm Mr. Low Tech. Just a piece of camera speaking my mind. What's with this? What's with editing and Keith? Come back, Keith.